Today I'm talking about my most anticipated reads for September. So if I've piqued your interest, grab a cup of something and let's dive in. Welcome back, friends. If you are new here, my name is Melissa. I'm the dyer behind Rising Tide Fiber Company. I'm also a very avid reader. And so today I want to talk about a few books that are being published this next month that I'm really looking forward to reading, and I thought I'd share with you. So I'm going to start with September 2nd. I will tell you right now, we're starting to move into that season where there are a lot of seasonal reads that are coming out, and you're going to hear me talking about them for September, October, probably in November as well. But usually all our fall themed books come out in the summer and our winter books come out in the fall. And so there's going to be a few of those sprinkled in here as well. So on September 2nd, we have Season of the Witch. This is a Christmas romance. It is actually the third book in a series called Toil and Trouble, but with most romantic series, you can read them as standalone, and there's not a ton that you will miss, but certainly if you want to go ahead and read the first two previous to this, you could. For this one, we're dealing with our character, Tia, and she's not really sure how she went from being this really powerful witch to fake dating her ex for a winter house. For 8 years now, she has refused to talk to or refused to speak Henry's name. And now their family businesses have merged, and she and her ex have to pretend to be together to secure some warlock's investment. They're going to have to share a room, share a bed. So we've got enemies to lovers. Sounds like we're going to have some forced proximity. And we're dealing with witch, but at Christmas time. So if you have a spooky little heart, that one will probably be right up your alley. Moving on to the following week, September 9th, I do have another romance. I'm kind of in a romance spell, but I promise there's other things coming out that I'm interested in too. This one is a new novel by Hannah Bonham Young called People Watching. She did this series Out on a Limb and Out of the Woods. I have read Out on a Limb. It had a pregnancy theme to it, but it also had like disability aspects to it. This is basically People Watching is going to be a small town woman's journey to spread her wings, even though she's going to become intertwined with an adventurous newcomer. So we're following Prudence, and she lives a very introverted life in a really charming little tourist town in Ontario. And her mother has been diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. So that may be a trigger for some people. So if you're in that season of life where you're experiencing that with a loved one, this might not be the season for you to read this book. But this particular author always has some kind of element with some sort of like medical diagnosis, I feel like, in all of her books. So her mother's condition is going to worsen, and her father's concerns about her future are going to start to intensify, and it just for her feels like her world is kind of slipping out of her control. And then we're going to enter Milo, who's going to kind of show up in town in this beat up van covered with all these like bumper stickers, and she finds herself able to just kind of let herself go, like just kind of be herself. And it's an unlikely friendship, but it ends up going a little bit further than friendship. So I think there's going to be some sort of temporary arrangement involved, but of course, they're both probably going to find themselves outside of their comfort zones. I'm really looking forward to it. Though she does tend to write some spicier books, I do feel like there are serious tones to them, and I really enjoy her work. Moving to September 11th. So that one was September 9th. Moving on to September 11th, I think a lot of people will have this one on their radar, and that is The Gingerbread Bakery by Lori Gilmore. And this will be the 5th installment of the Dream Harbor series. So you may have read the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, the Cinnamon Bun Store, the Christmas Tree Farm. I forget what the other one is. And when I was looking this up, there's actually a 6th book coming out next year. I want to say in April or May. And so the Gingerbread Bakery is coming out September 11th, which again is timely for the holiday season. So even if you reserve it with the library now, by the time the holiday season actually rolls around, it'll probably, fingers crossed, be ready for you to read. So we're following Annie, who's the owner of the Gingerbread Bakery. She doesn't really have a love life that kind of matches that sugary and sweet business of hers, and she's kind of locked in this word war with the bar owner down the street, Mac. And he's the type of guy who feels like he has everything that he wants except his dream girl. This Dream Harbor series is what I call cozy romance. We've got cozy fantasy, we got cozy mysteries. This is cozy romance. Like, this is very, it takes place in like that Gilmore Girl-esque town. This story is enemies to lovers, found family. We obviously have small town, and there's going to be some forced proximity. I love these books. I will say the first one, it's definitely not my favorite. I don't think it's a lot of people's favorite, but as the series has progressed, it's gotten better and better. So the next book that is coming out is on September 16th. This one is called Hopelessly T-Voted by Audrey Goldberg Ruoff. I do have an advanced copy of this, but this is supposed to be like a spooky rom-com. And we're following a witch, Azrael, and after his parents die, and he's a failed screenwriter, he returns to his family manor in this town, and the house is like really eerie, and he ends up reuniting with his childhood best friend that he had a crush on, and her name is Victoria. And she recently was disowned for buying his late parents' haunted tea shop. So she is now indebted to a devil, and she has been cursed to avoid touching Azrael. Or she risks burning him alive if she does. So then the spirits get involved, including the spirits of his deceased parents. And they warn him of this growing threat. And now the two of them, Victoria and Azrael, have to team up. Of course, she can't touch him, to save the town and confront, course, these feelings that they've kind of kept buried for a really long time. So again, kind of getting us into that Halloween spirit, and I'm kind of here for it. So the next book coming out on September 23rd is a romantasy. It's called Spellcaster by Jamin Eve. And so this is supposed to be steamy, fast-paced, enemies to lovers. Again, it's a romantasy, so we've got romance and fantasy, and it's set at a college. It's my understanding this also has elements of dark academia. So we have unpredictable magic. We're going to have ancient secrets. There's going to be this dangerous attraction between the two enemies. We don't, in the synopsis, they don't give you the character, our female main character's name off the bat, so I don't even know who we're following, but her powers awaken at the age of 22, obviously at this college, and apparently her powers are really unstable, and she's kind of thrusted into this legacy of magic and rivalry, particularly with a young man named Logan, who is a powerful spellcaster, and she has basically been forbidden to trust him. But dark forces, of course, are closing in because we're dealing with fantasy, and she's going to have to work with her enemy to survive it. And as we all know, that means things are going to heat up between them. And the last book I have for you comes out on September 30th. It's by Kaylee Archer, and it's called Witch of the Wolves. And this is going to be one of those, it's my understanding it's being published as like this really gorgeous, deluxe edition with stenciled, sprayed edges, that kind of stuff. But we're following Cordelia, and she is a half witch, half werewolf, and she's going to have to confront this mysterious heritage, but she's kidnapped by this brooding werewolf of her estranged father's, like on her estranged father's orders. And now she's thrusted into the world of this wolf pack, and she's caught between deadly threats. Obviously, usually in wolf books, there's like pack politics. So there'll be some of that. And this desire for it's another romantasy, so she's going to have this growing desire for her kidnapper. It's my understanding there's secrets, there's obviously some magic, some simmering tension. It's supposed to be a dark and romantic supernatural tale. So again, I think we're kind of moving into that Halloween vibes, and those are the books that I have for you. So tell me, is there something that's coming out that I didn't talk about that you're super excited to read? I know there are other books that I'm interested in, like Lin-Manuel there's a book about him. I think it's called The Evolution of an Artist. There are other books that I want to read, but they are not at the top of my list, like a lot of these. So if there's something that I missed, tell me in the comments. If not, go ahead and leave me a pumpkin emoji so that I know that you made it through the whole video. Until next time, friends, happy reading.